Alrighty, welcome wrestling fans and Super Kicking It fans to another edition of Super Kicking It with Steven. Right here, your favorite host, Stephen A. 1181. Greg is going to be right here soon. We will bring him on. We're officially on the road to WrestleMania. We got so many things to talk about coming out of the Elimination Chamber. Some definitely, signs that we got WrestleMania matches planned. We'll talk AEW and some matches there for Revolution, which is coming up March 5th, Sunday, March 5th. And yeah, that's their big pay per view coming up next. So we'll have that in a couple weeks. We'll have Stand and Deliver coming up for NXT on the weekend of WrestleMania. There's just a lot of good stuff. Hard to believe next time, we're watching WWE pay per views, premium live events. It'll be WrestleMania weekend. It just hits you so quick. This is the best time anyway, as we're heading into spring. Got March Madness coming. You got basketball playoffs starting to, get ready. Baseball's kicking off. You got the XFL kicking off last night. I mean, just so much to talk about here on Super Kicking with Steven and all of our favorite BW sports communities, such as the Dukes of Football and State of Basketball and Checkers and Wreckers. Just a bit outside, they will be kicking off pretty soon, I'm sure. So if you need any sports fix, you go to BW Sports 1 and you get that sports fix. So I will show you the results right here. Like we said, we got Greg coming in soon, and I cannot wait to hear some of his thoughts on some of these things that happened on Elimination Chamber last night. As I think there was a couple surprises, of what went down and what happened. We kicked off the night right away with Elimination Chamber match. I assumed it was going to be the women's match. We got that, and then we had the other chamber match kind of in the second to main event slot, second to last slot. Sorry. So Asuka ends up winning the Elimination Chamber match. She gets the right to a challenge. Bianca Belair, it probably made the most sense. Probably a little too soon for Raquel, especially since Bianca is more of a face anyway. I'm still going to be like Greg and hold on that we will have our Alexa Bliss in that match, Greg. I will keep going to the well on that end. So I'll let him get fixed things, his camera fixer first, so he can get that sorted out. I brought him on a little too soon, but Asuka wins. I thought Liv Morgan looked very strong. She had to tap out to Asuka and Natalia, so they booked her pretty well. Natalia really didn't do too much. I thought Raquel, held her own, looked pretty good. And Carmella did what she was going to do in there. Asuka obviously looked the most dominant as she just kind of made her way through that match. So, yeah, we'll see Asuka, Bianca Belair at WrestleMania. Like I said, I still wonder if Alexa Bliss finds her way in there because I feel like there's just too much unfinished business between Bianca Belair and Alexa Bliss, especially if we're going to have Alexa Bliss going in this more heel route of, the with the Bray Wyatt faction, if that's the thing. So um, we have to talk about this Bobby Lashley Brock Lesnar match. Short, sweet, to the point. Just hard hitting, a lot of finishing moves, couple suplexes. Here he is. Let's see if we got him. How you doing, Greg? You good to go?
Hey, sorry about that.
There we go. Sorry, I brought you on a little too soon. I was like, I thought he'd get it sorted out, and you got it sorted out. So, just kicking off with Asuka winning, and I said, Greg, I'm still going to be like you and hold out my Alexa Bliss card until otherwise, because I suspect there's too much unfinished business there. But Asuka probably looked the most dominant. I also thought Liv Morgan looked pretty strong, though. She had to tap out. She was putting both submission moves to make her go, Greg. She almost looked a little bit better than Raquel, didn't she?
She did. I'm not a big Liv fan, but she looked good in that match. She pulled off some great moves, had some great spots. That sunset flip off the pod was amazing on Raquel. Um, so she showed out. I'll give her props. She looked good, and went out on her shield. They're playing up the whole. She doesn't tap out. She just passes out, which I don't know if it's a great thing either. But you know, she's using that as part of her character. So I dig it. And yeah, so shout out to her. She looked great, but I'm all about Asuka. So I love that she won. I'm with Asuka's repackaging. Looking at it now, it's the perfect setup.
Yeah.
Because you want to, you're giving her the fresh coat of paint, face paint.
Yeah.
You're portraying her as being more sadistic and more. They haven't said evil or heel yet, but hopefully this is where it's going because her against Bianca. Bianca's obviously going to be the baby face, so you know we're really going to rebrand Asuka and bring her back to NXT style Asuka. And she had a huge support from the crowd. She got the Asuka's going to kill you chant going on.
We haven't heard
I
that
was
in a while.
loving that. I know, a long time. And people are buying into it that she is going to be, old school Asuka and she's going to kill everybody. And her presentation's been great so far, even though we haven't seen much of her turning to her dark side more. She had the one little interview segment where she walked up to Liv and she was kind of drooling the paint.
Yeah.
And other than some menacing stares, there hasn't been much to it. But they have a handful of weeks to build that up with her and Bianca, and I hope she goes straight heel all the way because that's the character flip we need out of her. Because um, as much as I love it, she's still doing the posing to the crowd, too much smiling. I know it's trying to be seen as more sneering than smiling, but if you're going to turn it up, you got to turn it up all the way.
Yeah.
And that's going to make a better WrestleMania match. So
Wonder what
very
Raquel
happy with how that went.
What do we think Raquel's going to do at Mania?
Good question.
I just don't
I don't see her.
see
I
a
know.
place for her, right?
They're going to be a women's battle royal.
I mean,
a
I
women's
wonder if
Andre
they
the
do.
Giant.
Do you think they could? I wonder if they do bring that back, just to kind of give like Liv, Carmella, Natty. I mean, you got to think Shotzi, like, because I'm assuming the tag team titles is Ronda and Shayna versus Damage Control.
Yeah.
So,
As sad as it is to say right now, I think that Raquel is going to be relegated to the pre-show.
yeah.
She may get some lower level talent, somebody like Emma or somebody of that nature
Yeah.
to face off against, or they may just do a
You do like
big battle royal
or
with some type of stakes on it. Next contender for.
This is probably where the Money in the Bank would be nice to have back at Mania.
Yeah,
because you'd have 7 or 8 women, but we'll get that in London, which I think is going to be a lot of fun to see anyway. So you do wonder if next year maybe they rethink that, but I still like Money in the Bank as a pay per view on its own. So
no, I agree, and I
the
think
Liv,
Raquel needs something else too. She's
yeah,
in the end, she's not ready yet. I mean, she needs a lot of work on her character, on her mic skills, on she's got the look and the physicality in her matches, but she needs the rest of the package
yeah.
to really get that push.
Yeah.
So,
And who knows? Even by SummerSlam, we could see her in a title match. Honestly, you build her up over the summer, but
possibly, but I don't see her as champ yet until late this year, if this year at all.
Yep, that's right. Yeah. How about this one though, Greg? I don't get it. Brock, low blow on Bobby Lashley, and then takes out the ref twice, takes out Lashley. I mean, essentially, you feel like he's going to be suspended, but we need now we need another rubber match, don't we? But then you have Bray Wyatt in the mix. I don't want to see a triple threat with Bray, Bobby, and Brock.
No, I mean whoever's in there with Bray is a one-on-one match. It has to be.
Yeah.
But now it does create a situation because now we were talking yesterday about this would be a great Hell in a Cell match, Bobby and Brock, and the way that these matches are ending, um, it really lends itself to it. There should be one big
Low.
falls count anywhere, no holds barred, way to blow the whole thing up once and for all. And now you're going to pivot away from that and give one of them to Brock, and the other is going to be left holding the bag. And it doesn't seem fair because, that was, for me, unexpected too. I expected Brock to win, and
Unless we wait till after Mania and then Bray goes after one of them. Then Bray, but then I don't know what Bray does at Mania.
right. And, now that's the problem that we've created. We don't know what they're planning, but
I mean, I guess it's a good problem, right? We don't want it to be too predictable, but we also, like you said, I felt like Lashley, or like you were saying, you felt like Lashley was going more heel, but Brock, Brock does a love blow. So
right. And another question: do you use this on as a main event on Raw?
yeah,
A huge main
we are
event,
in Ottawa, so maybe Brock would just be willing to do work in Canada.
right? Be close to home,
Yeah,
and have this be a um, big cage match, big falls count anywhere, but a big stipulation match to finish it where there's no rules. Wish they did lights out the way that AEW does, just a lights out match, and whatever happens. It's not our fault if one of them dies on the way,
or you do
somewhere during the course of the
unsanctioned.
match.
Yeah,
Yeah.
um, yeah. I
So,
don't. I'm
something like
very
that.
curious which direction they're going to go with that. Edge and Beth Phoenix got the win. Obviously, I think that was pretty well done. Dominic gets involved a few times. The brass knucks gets involved a few times. Chairs get involved. Intergender moves were performed. Greg, I think
Yep.
ultimately. So now Edge is going to answer the challenge of Austin Theory on Monday night, and I think that's where Finn comes out and just takes Edge, just goes to town on Edge because I do think we got to get Edge and Finn at Mania. Even if it's not Hell in a Cell, I think one-on-one is a fantastic match for Finn to go up against Edge. So I think that's where they're headed for that. Thoughts on that end?
Yeah, the match was good. The match was a banger. I didn't have much
A lot of shenanigans, what we kind of
expectations.
expected.
Yeah, I didn't have high hopes for it, but it delivered. They brought it more than I thought they would. They had great spots between the men and the women,
Mm-hmm.
um, executing moves on each other, and that's what I've been saying for a long time. I'd love to see, where it's justified having, the men and the women square off and hit each other with moves. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
They do it in pretty much every other promotion but WWE. So, more of that, I would be all for it. And, this match was a banger and, loved it. I didn't expect to, and I did.
And then we do have the official Logan Paul showing. I did not expect that, Greg, but we got Logan Paul and Seth Rollins. We're going to be off and running there. Like I said, Theory has Edge coming up this Monday night, and in Edge's little press conference, he mentioned Theory was a Cena fan. So there we go, Greg. There's my little nugget. That's all I needed. You can have because you can have Theory beat Edge, and say I beat Edge. I can beat any legend like that, and boom, here comes
Yeah.
Cena's music, and whenever we do, I don't even know if we need to do it. We don't need a whole program. I don't think of Cena and Theory. Honestly, I think you could give me a couple weeks and we're good. I think we got it. So
Hmm.
I don't think that's necessarily a story that needs to be unfolded too long. And man, if they get Theory a win over Cena at WrestleMania, Greg, like I said, that's going to put him on that next level. So, and that's what he needs. Ever since this kind of get rid of Vince gimmick and losing the briefcase and just like you said, just turned that corner, and he's showing out. I thought everybody got to show out in that match. Though I
Oh
really
yeah.
thought they portrayed. I mean, I didn't think Gargano would get too much, but he did. They got to do the finishing maneuvers on Bronson Reed and whatnot, and Seth Rollins gets his moves in. We figured it would come down to Seth and Theory because those are the top guys, but Bronson Reed got to show out. Gargano got to show out, and I mean, I thought everybody got to play their part. Damian Priest, he was looking good. There was a couple times I'm like, man, just put the title on him, but
right. And Montez Ford showed out.
Montez Ford from the
Spider-Man move off the top of the cage.
Yep. I mean, he got 2 or 3 of the eliminations, I believe, too.
Yeah.
I know at least 2 because he took out Bronson Reed and he took out somebody else. So they definitely were high, and I think he was one of the last 4 left or 3. He might have the last 3.
Final 3, yeah.
Final 3. So they definitely
that's what
are
opened
high.
The door for Logan Paul, yeah.
Yep, they're definitely high on him. Yeah, the injury angle, they had to. I don't know if Logan Paul was still drinking his prime energy drink back there, Greg, but took a little bit longer for him to come out. It felt like so. They had to play up that injury angle. Hopefully, that's just that was just an angle. I'm thinking that's why they played that up. But Austin Theory and Cena, I'm off and running for it at WrestleMania. But we'll get Austin Theory and Edge on Monday night. I think that's going to be a fun match. And kind of see if Finn Balor plays a part in that. So, thoughts on the U.S. title?
Yeah, it was great. It was, both of these chamber matches, easy for me to say, killed it. Yeah. Killed it. Like you said, everybody got their stuff in, and, without being, overly showy. It was within the framework of the match, and, they happened without being too, well, flashy is the wrong word, without being
going for too much and then
not making too much. Yeah, not making sense, or why would you do this here? But it all looked great, and everybody in there came out looking like $1 million. Bronson Reed showed he was a beast. Montez showed he was going to be a superstar in the making. Theory raised his game by winning this match, and everybody got their time and did their part really, really well. So, round of applause to everybody because they really brought it.
Yep. And finally, Sami Zayn. He got to deliver the kick at the end. We didn't get the embrace yet, Greg. But then I think the other story is we didn't get Jey Uso joining in. Now, and you brought up maybe the Usos could show up. So obviously they got that all cleared out. So good call on your end. I'll give you the credit on that, Greg. No Solo, which was interesting, but the Usos show up. Jimmy, lays a couple super kicks. A couple maybe one too many ref bumps for my liking, Greg, but it had to work. They had to do what they had to do to get every little thing in there. But a tag team match between 2 teams that are, not necessarily on the same page for WrestleMania, I think is the story. So, Sami Zayn, man, that crowd, I can only imagine what would have happened if he would have won it. That crowd probably would still be celebrating the whole week. Their first championship since the Canadians won in '93. They were saying so. They were probably due for it, Greg. But in the end, we're going to get Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes, Night 2 WrestleMania main event, which is the official bet between me and Jay for a T-shirt. And then I think we're going to get the Usos, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Night 1 main event for the tag team titles. And I think, that's going to be the payoff for all this work that, not just Sami Zayn, but Kevin Owens has put over the past, ever since they both resigned. We're like, here we go. Let's see what they can get done. And now they're, main events 2 years in a row for Kevin Owens, possibly, which is crazy to think. But that, everything hit. Calling to his wife in the crowd. It looked like his 2 kids. They looked very hipster, Greg, so I assume those were his kids. They were definitely rocking some fancy, looking indie looking hats. And I believe his dad was there too. It looked like the older gentleman with the big gruff beard looking thing. I believe that was his dad. So Every family member was, or not every, but family members were there. And, like I said, I thought if you would have went, maybe Roman just going berserk and, going by DQ would have been great, but they gave Roman the win straight up. And now we're off and running with Cody and Roman. And I'm curious to see how Roman, what promos we'll get between Roman and Cody, because we already had Heyman on his side, and now it's up to Roman. So, especially if they had kind of Heyman look like he got taken out by KO. Was that a worse stunner finish than the Vince McMahon one, Greg? Paul Heyman just kind of going down very slowly. I mean, literally like a beached whale or something. But that thing was. Whew. But yeah, I'm guessing maybe that's a good way to write off Paul Heyman for a little bit. Let Roman and Cody cook the story, as they say. So lots of, a few things break. But I think, Greg, the biggest thing is Jey Uso. Does, after Roman loses, is it him and Roman over the summer possibly? And, maybe Jey does get the win, does get some come up and so for Roman in the end.
It could be. I mean, the possibilities are endless right now with the directions they could take it. And there's no wrong answer, really.
Yeah. At this rate.
Exactly. The match was great, and just feeling that energy coming through the screen, like the stadium was going nuts. And and I watched it from the time that they rang the bell until they actually touched each other.
Yeah.
And they did the whole, letting the crowd serenade you for the whole. It was 5 minutes flat. And I, looked at my my phone from the time it started to the time that they actually locked up, and it was 5 minutes of the crowd just going nuts and F you Roman, and cheering for Sammy, and them just it's like riding a wave. F you Roman, and then
Money Bank, Money in the Bank 2011, and ECW One Night Stand vibes.
Exactly. And it was great. It was fun hearing that, and just knowing that was not piped in noise. That was the whole city of Montreal just going crazy. And it was cool feeling that energy, because it's not often that you get it that voraciously, from the crowd.
Yeah.
And you could definitely feel it watching it through the TV. The match was a banger, and totally expected to be. Wanted to see a match that leveled up Sammy, from just being the comic relief character to serious main eventer, and he's already been on that plane, in the elevator going up.
Yeah.
But he definitely leveled up with that match. Really brought it. Classic match, and love the spots, involving the family, and Roman talking to smack in front of his wife, and eventually he flipped it around. It was just great, from having you drawn in emotionally, and WWE did a great job of actually portraying it as if there was a glimmer of hope that he was actually going to win, with his family there, his parents there, and giving more than enough shots of the kids and the wife sitting there emotionally gripped, and it sucked you in and made you wonder at some of those spots near the end of the match if it was actually going to happen.
Oh yeah.
And it took the shenanigans of Jimmy Uso coming down and sticking his nose in it, and some outside interference before you could swing it back to Roman. So loved how the whole match played out. I would have loved to see Sammy win, but why he didn't win. So
yeah.
But and it was great. We didn't get the ending with KO that we were hoping for, but you saw the first glimpse of the the merging of those two again, with Sammy there getting his curtain call, and Kevin on the entrance ramp, feeling so bad for him. You could see it in his face that, he hurt for him, but he wasn't ready to do the big hug in the middle yet. but you know he was acknowledging
It's
it and he
coming.
was feeling it. It's coming. It's coming for sure. And
I mean, even if do we want to play it out till Mania? Maybe have like Sami Zayn just say, "I'm challenger for the tag team titles," and he just keeps asking Kevin Owens to show up, and then Owens shows up at Mania, or do we have to do it beforehand?
yeah, you could totally do it that way. And then, no, if not at Mania itself, like the the week of Mania, but the go home show, um, he answers the call, and so
Especially if he gets like beat down by Jay Uso and maybe Jimmy and Jay are on the same page finally, and you have the beat
right,
down. So,
yeah.
but yeah. Any other Elimination Chamber thoughts?
Um, oh, that Seth and Becky
Oh,
spot
the
with
Batman. I
Seth
mean, the
doing
Joker. Sorry.
yeah, Seth doing the whole Joker perfectly.
Yeah.
The Joaquin Phoenix Joker on the
Yeah.
steps, and then the man coming out as Batman. Holy crap, that was awesome. Love that.
It'd be interesting to see
Um,
what else they got lined up for those.
yeah, I,
So,
I was like, that's not an old WrestleMania spot. That's a new one. Maybe
well, yeah,
it's
you feel like I feel like they're good. Yeah, I think they're going to pick newer movies. So we'll see
yeah. I
what
mean,
other
those
movies.
vignettes are coming now, so
Yeah, yeah. I
that's
know people were harping on them, like they're coming. Like get Elimination Chamber out of the way, then we'll get all these. But so,
yeah.
Greg,
They
that
got
was not the only wrestling we had last night. So we also had Mercedes Moné win some gold, which I think we all saw. So congrats to her. Not, I wish I could have got the chance to watch this. It started about 10, so I probably could have tuned in to it, Greg, and picked it up on Fight TV. But hopefully next time, the timing lines up a little bit better. But I also bring up the Eddie Kingston Jay White match because this was a loser leaves New Japan match. So Jay White is officially a free agent. So
oh
the
wow,
question is, where's he go?
interesting.
I mean, the
Um,
easy answer is AEW, but wouldn't the bigger challenge be WWE?
it would be. If he wants the most exposure he can get, he's going to go to WWE, and it's the perfect time to come into the mix.
If we did,
Right
like someone
here,
did an open challenge,
exactly. Um, the champions are booked, but there's plenty of on the rise talents that can um, you know just do an open challenge. Maybe Baron Corbin does it just to because he's pissed off about JBL and he just gets in the
and
ring,
you could
goes on a
easily have
rant.
Jay White run over him and get a win at WrestleMania, which would be crazy to
Exactly.
think.
Um,
So
I don't think I don't think the Miz is doing anything.
yeah,
He's always a great barrier to entry.
hmm
Um, so there's plenty of guys that could just do a blind call out and take a Jay White beat down. So
yeah.
and you're both still getting your WrestleMania moment. So
I'm going to call it, Greg. I think he ends up at WWE. I think with Triple H in charge too. Now, if Vince was in charge, do I see it? Probably not. But I feel like he's a guy that wants to go to that next challenge. Not that AEW wouldn't be a challenge or would be easy, Greg, but I feel like everybody would think that's a predictable route, and there's still plenty of stuff you could do there. But I don't know. There's something, there's always something about going to WWE. You
mhm.
know, he could always start there, and things don't work out in a year or two. Hey, you jump ship, and then you go sail over there and see what what the grass is like. So, um,
Yeah,
yeah. So I just brought those up just because I thought there was the battle in the valley last night, which was a New Japan American side of things, and obviously
mhm.
Mercedes Monet. I would love. I'll be curious to see what her next steps are. I think we both kind of said I think we see her at AEW at some point. Especially if you do Forbidden
Yeah,
Door in the summer, so she could do for a short run there. And um, I don't know. I still think she ends up back in WWE in a year or two.
so what belt did she win? Was that a New
This is
Japan belt?
the women's championship. So it's the second. Kairi Sane was the first winner of it, and now she's the second champion. So she beat Kairi Sane for the IWGP Women's Championship.
Nice. Okay.
She said the dream was to be in Japan. So I think she'll spend some time there, Greg. But I still feel like with the Triple H factor back in power, that's got to be a big selling point coming a year or two. Kind of coming back and finishing her story, as they say. So,
Right.
yeah. Any other thoughts or things that popped your brain, wrestling wise, Greg? And then we'll get into AEW talk. I'll be honest, I did not watch NXT this week, so I need to. I got my Tuesday nights
Yeah.
free pretty soon, so I need to get back on watching that because I just don't have time. So
Yeah, you and me both. I haven't watched since they were here in Charlotte to
yeah.
do the big pay-per-view, so I need to get
Okay.
caught up myself. But
Anything else that kind of caught your eye, news or notes around the world of wrestling?
no, well, thoughts and prayers for Jerry Lawler.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's not doing so hot right now, and hopefully he can recover.
Mm-hmm.
And all right, rest in peace to Jerry Jarrett also, who passed away this weekend or last week.
Yeah, that's a good call too. He was definitely a big promoter back in the Memphis or Nashville area back in the day. So couple Tennessee guys just going through it. It sounds like Jerry Lawler will make a good recovery, so that's good. But it didn't look too good there for a little bit. So
yeah.
Yeah. But, all right, let's get a couple commercial. We'll just get all of our commercial breaks out of the way. So we can grab some water and get some breath going for the rest of the show, and then we'll wrap it up after our AEW talk. So we'll get you some Rogue Energy talk, Elite Performance talk, and our Sean Nugent Realty talk, all for your viewing pleasure.
What is up, everybody? It's your boy Dan over at BWSPORTS1.com and Black and White Sports. And I'm wondering if you're ready to buy or sell that home, now's the time, and I got just the person for you. Mr. Sean Nugent, a.k.a. Rockstar Realtor himself. 317-503-8322. Put that home on the market. Get into your dream home with this man. Talk to Sean at Talk to Tucker today, 317-503-8322, and make sure you tell him the boys over at BWSPORTS1.com sent you.
Alrighty, so here's our little AEW Dynamite talk. Speaking of Jeff Jarrett, he was in the opening match. That saw the most random pairing, I guess, with Orange Cassidy, the Acclaimed, and the Gun, Billy Gunn, sorry, defeating Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, Singh, and Loot. Yep, that happened, Greg. Thoughts?
Yeah.
Prayers?
Yeah. These opening matches used to be all epic bangers, and now they're going the other way. So, yeah. They need to step their game up. WWE is passing them up and leaving him in the dust right now. So
Hard to
but yeah,
remember. Orange
AW.
Cassidy's our All Atlantic champion too, right?
Yeah, still is.
Yep. So, how about Moxie and Claudio picking up a big win over Vance and Roosh? That was, pretty hard hitting affair, Texas Tornado match. It's about time we start doing a little more with Preston Vance.
It is. It is. If you're going to really establish him as a character, not just a minion,
Mm-hmm.
it's time to let him shine individually. The LFI clique isn't really, they're a team in name only.
Yeah.
And Roosh does his own thing, and the Andrade does his own thing. We don't even know where Andrade is anymore. And but Vance needs to get his solo moments to really establish himself. He's got the heat for turning on Dark Order,
Yeah.
but he
Just
needs
have
to
to
build
finish.
on that.
Jay Briscoe defeats Josh Woods, and Jay Briscoe mentioned he smells some gold in them hills. So, you wonder if maybe he could go after Orange Cassidy's title. I think that'd be a nice little step up for him, Greg, to kind of get his name really going. Obviously, it's going in AEW. I just don't know what they're going to do with the tag team title. So that's still kind of out there too. But maybe a little singles run, singles title for him. Give him some love and see where he can go with that, right?
Yeah, I mean, they have to make a decision with what they're going to do with the tag titles because, it's a bit a little too gratuitous to give him, a singles championship and the tag team
Yeah.
championship. So
Yeah.
maybe he can just come out and do the, I'm going to relinquish this to, another team, kind of just what my brother would have wanted. And I'm going to go and I'm going to challenge whoever for your title and, go that route. So, but I think that would be the best thing. And I'm loving seeing him get that national spotlight. And, even though it's, you rather it happened while Jay was still here
Yeah.
to enjoy it with him, better late than never. And, he's going to be a big star, off the heels of, coming in at the timing it is, and just his personality, his ring style, the AEW fans are going to eat it up. So I have no doubt that by the end of this year, he'll have a singles championship.
Mark Briscoe. Sorry, I made him. Jay Briscoe. There you go. MJF did a promo with Christopher Daniels, kind of taking him out there. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
we're just seeing the same promo, and I'm like, this is the downfall, I think, Greg, of the Brian Danielson's got to run through 4 weeks. Now what do we do with the next 2 or 3 weeks? And this is what we're getting. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Jungle Boy.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I don't know if we want to move on, but Jungle Boy defeated Brian Cage, but then Christian Cage came back.
Yeah, and it's funny is that while we were watching that match, I had a thought. I was like, it's been a long time since we've seen Christian. Not that I'm complaining
gotta
about
end that feud at Revolution. That's yeah.
Exactly, and boom, 5 minutes after I had that thought, it happened. So I need to be careful with those powers. But
use them for good.
Exactly. Especially if I could use that for wrestling good. Yeah, absolutely. Spoiler alert: Oscar's going to beat Bianca. I'm putting that out there right now. But yeah, you got to finish the story with, talking about finishing stories with Jungle Boy and Christian.
Falls count anywhere, no holds barred, something. Well, I don't know. I guess we're getting Hangman and Moxley in a death match. I don't know if we need too many. Maybe just the stipulation that we're done with it. We're done. With this whole thing, like legit contract signing type deal with that stipulation. But yeah, we did see Hangman Page defeat Kip Sabian, but then Moxley came out there and challenged him. to a death match. So we'll see that play out. That needs to be the end of that feud, right?
Yeah, and that's exactly what I'm leaning with Brock and Lashley, is that we have all these unsatisfying finishes.
Yeah.
You know, something like this, same thing. You know, we have a win by a roll up, you have a win by a disqualification,
Mhm.
and now you're going to finish it off appropriately with a death match.
Yeah.
You know, boom, now we go out in the blaze of glory and we finish the story, and it's perfect. So,
Yep.
you know, Mox and Heyman, you know, no more schoolboys. You know, somebody's gonna be left in a bloody heap in the middle of the mat, which is the way it should end. So, you know, props to them for doing that.
And probably that winner should move up and challenge, the champion, I would think, because they're both high enough level on that end. So we'll see. But and then Ruby Soho defeated Storm, Tony Storm, Britt Baker. I think this was the match we were supposed to get a few weeks back, wasn't it? I think so. We did get this. I guess I'm going to Ruby and Jamie Hayter at Revolution to give her, a title shot.
Yep, I agree with
Or do
that.
we throw all four of these women in there and let them all see? Just every woman, Saraya, just let every woman. We got Ruby playing the middle gal, trying to figure out which side of the fence she's on, but um, they pull the fan out, spray paint Tony Storm's ass to do that into the face of the fan. But yeah,
Yeah, the whole spray paint gimmick, you know, nobody does it better than the NWO, and trying to harken back to that is,
yeah.
you know, everybody's just kind of rolling their eyes at it. It's like, okay, seeing it, it's not working.
AEW's
Um,
kind of hit a kind of they're kind of hitting a lull. It feels like.
yeah. And like I said, this whole outsiders versus homegrown talent should have been done a long time ago. You know, they're
Yeah.
3 years in, and this is the first time they broached the subject. So, and they're not doing a great job of it right now. So, I think some just big collaborative match for the championship with all the
Yeah.
principal characters, Soraya and Tony and Britt, Jamie, and just having one big blow up match is probably the best idea.
That's
And
what they need, the
blow up.
elimination chamber. 'Cause you
Exactly.
got 5 or 6 women that are right there, kind of all on that same plane. Um, Let Jamie Hayter get a good win like that. So, yeah, that's really all I had from Dynamite. Any other notes that you had on Dynamite's end?
Um, no, it seems like that, you know, AEW's falling off lately with the storyline. Maybe Tony Khan's taking up too much and not delegating enough,
Yeah.
because you know it is becoming a little stagnant. And I know it's because you know some guys are injured or you know more hurt than they are when they are on TV.
Yeah.
I know we were building up to Revolution, but you know it hasn't been a great build.
Well, plus we
So
don't, we only see House of Black very, sparingly. We did see Ray Phoenix and um, Penta back, right? Weren't they back this week?
yeah, they did make a appearance. Yeah,
Yeah, so they
to
must
come
have.
in
I
for the
think they had
tag.
some work visas that they had to sort out. Miro, what's what's Miro doing? You think he would be around to do something, but um, you always got Lance Archer in the back. Where's he at? So here's some of the results. So we did have the Elite win the Slam Dunk Rampage episode. We were really doing the NBA tie-in, Greg, with AEW
Yeah,
lately, but the Elite pick up a win. It did sound like House of Black showed up for a little bit, so they'll be, challenging for the trios title, finally getting them some gold, maybe. But I'm looking forward to that. Give me the Elite and House of Black, because House of Black has need to move up from their spot for a while, so that should be something.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, two of my favorite trios teams, House of Black, um, and I still put you know the Lucha Brothers and Pac above the Elite. But if there's a trios match with the Elite in it, I'm there. So I got to put them number 3 on my favorites list because I know they're going to bring it. And it's going to be a banger when there's any of those 3 teams involved. And I'm hoping House of Black wins, even though the Elite just came back and they just, scored those championships back. Maybe it was just a make right so that, they can,
Move on.
close the brawl out chapter of
That
things.
could free Kenny Omega up possibly too.
Exactly.
Free to go somewhere else, maybe.
Right. Get another champion or
another side of the fence. But that's been swirled around kind of here and there. So we'll see if that's if AEW loses Kenny Omega, man, the Elite or the Young Bucks are going to be like, okay.
Yeah, I did see something about that his contract may be
could have been up already.
To an end.
Yeah,
up already, close to an end, or they may invoke their injury time.
Yeah,
and add it to the end of his contract because
I thought the Young Bucks had a 5-year deal, so I'm surprised he didn't have a 5-year deal. But maybe because just the way that he wrote it, or they wrote it for him. So
right,
maybe if you wanted to do New Japan, after or something.
Well, I'm putting a dream scenario out there that some way that Roman wins at WrestleMania
Omega
and does his "I've beaten everybody" speech on the next Raw, and boom, Kenny Omega comes out.
Because I think Omega really wants to go against Roman. I think it's out there. So.
No, I don't. Can I get that? I'm gonna use my magic powers to do that.
Bring along the Bucks, man. AEW would be a little hurting there. So
yeah.
So Ricky Starks beat Daniel Garcia. I guess we're going to get Starks and Jericho in some sort of blow off match. We need to do that. Mm-hmm. Jade wins, Greg. We need something for her at Revolution. What about the return of Graybeard? I mean, Keith Lee. Sorry, gray-haired Keith Lee.
I know.
He finally let it go.
Hey, well, it's time to do something. I mean, the guy's had all the hype when he came in, and he's done nothing. I mean, he had a decent run with Swerve, but even in that tag team wasn't great.
He was out for a little bit for health. Well, that was at the beginning, but health issues. So hopefully that's not coming back. But him and Dustin Rhodes, I guess, against the affiliates and Swerve is something. It's something.
It's something. It's not much, but give us a good, hard hitting, bloody match, and I'll be satisfied. So.
Yeah. And Swerve has obviously shown himself as a heel. Like, he's probably positioned himself pretty high. So I think it'd be nice, maybe the TNT title should come his way soon.
I love Swerve's swagger.
Yeah.
And, it all like oozes through the screen when you're watching him. You just feel dirty watching him. And, that's.
But Parker and that other guy.
Yeah. But Swerve is the catalyst of it all. You just kind of, you feel his vibe and, how prickly and evil intended he is. And it's not like other guys when they try to do the same thing. It feels real when Swerve is talking it and saying it, and you see it. Yeah. So, much love to him, because when guys can portray their character that great, I'm all for it, whether they're a good guy or a bad guy. So, now it makes me want to watch it more and see how this whole mogul thing is going to work out. And, it's going to make it Swerve more money. So,
or maybe they should go after the trios title and kind of build up Parker and the other guy. I keep forgetting his name because they've only named him like once. But
right, I'd try to lobby Triple H to let these other Hit Row members come join him. they're
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
part of the
we
job
we
squad
really
now.
haven't talked about that with Hit Row, but man, I wonder if they're trying to go back to the drawing board with Hit Row, with the way they've had to job him out a little bit. So,
Yeah.
but anyways, last call. Last night was the All Star skills stuff, Greg. I had a nice pacer moment because we had saw Buddy Hield and Tyrese Halliburton in the finals. I believe Damian Lillard won, though. Maybe.
Okay. I didn't even get to watch any of it.
Yeah.
So
Mac McClung of the G League won the dunk contest. So, but don't
wow.
worry, Greg. Zion Williamson said he wants to participate next year.
Yeah. If he's
Asterisk
not
with
injured.
if he's healthy.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Which
But
is
pretty cool
rare
for a G League guy. Like, it was funny, they put up the stat. Like, we were watching like the pre-show stuff, and they did put up the stats for like Mac McClung, 3 NBA career baskets and 0 dunks. So, but he put on a show. He got a 50 at one of the dunks, is what I saw just in highlights. So, um, I didn't know any of the guys in the dunk contest this year. I don't know
I'm
if
gonna
that
have
means
to find the replay of it because
I think
usually I
he
love
did
watching.
recreate Vince Carter's pretty spectacular dunk, like a reverse jam between the legs type stuff. So then somebody used a 3D printed basketball, which is actually a pretty cool thing to think. Like, that 3D printing stuff is just crazy anyway with what you could do. So I think somebody did that. The skills challenge, I forget who won, but it was like is Giannis and his brothers versus 3 Utah Jazz guys versus like 3 rookie sophomore guys. So I know 3 rookies, sorry, because it was Paleo, Bonchero, Jaden Ivey, and somebody else. So pretty cool stuff there. But then we'll see. Are you going to watch tonight the All Star game? I don't really watch it anymore, but
No, probably not. I'll go back and watch the last night's event because that's more interesting, the 3-point contest and the dunk contest.
yeah,
And it'll be cool to see it, even though who won, because you mean the whole roster of everybody in the NBA. There's nobody that can beat a G League guy. I mean, seriously. I mean, I put out a
well, of course there
proposal
are,
a
but
while ago.
there's no guys willing to go out there.
I know, but
Yeah.
like nobody cares anymore. I mean, back in the when we were in our 20s, in our teens, everybody who was anybody went into the dunk contest. It was a next to winning MVP. It was probably one of the biggest achievements that you wanted.
Spud Webb won it at 5'7". The one
Exactly.
year. Dominic
Yeah.
won it. Jordan won it. Vince Carter won it.
I know. I mean, where are the stars? Why aren't the stars getting involved anymore? I mean, the stars are what drives the
LeBron
NBA.
should have
They're
done
not
it at least
participating.
once, right? I mean, LeBron needed to do it 1 year.
Yeah,
Because
he definitely should have.
he could pull out great dunks in game. So I can only imagine what he could have done with some, props and whatnot. Like, so, but anyway, yeah.
We talk about the NBA being too soft, and this is just another example. Nobody wants to, take the ego hit of losing in the dunk contest, where it used to be a badge of honor just to get picked.
Let's not even talk about the stupid thing where they're like, I think this year they had the reserves announced first, Greg, for the All-Star teams, so that whoever was last picked didn't feel that, that being last picked, and then they announced the starters. So then that way,
Wow, that's horrible.
I mean, come on, like, you go to the All-Star game, like, who cares, I mean, just ask Brock Purdy about being last picked. You almost make
exactly.
you get to Super Bowl, or you almost make it to Super Bowl. So, yeah, or no, yeah, you just make it. So, anyway, so, and then we got the NASCAR race, which is NASCAR season goes till all of our life, all the now till November and whatnot. Tiger Woods is golfing on a Sunday, Greg. This is the best time of this, or the fall season is always the two great, kind of the peak sports time, like going into March. We got the NBA season finishing up. You got March Madness. You have, racing kicking off. You have, baseball kicking off. And then, of course, next, coming fall, you got football. I did not watch any XFL. Are you going to watch any XFL today?
Maybe.
I feel like I might just turn it on if I can, because it's on ESPN or it's on Fox. So you feel like you'll be able to easily find it.
Yeah, I might peek at it, maybe. I do have a funny story to tell you. But,
Okay.
because, I work in the airport.
Yes.
And I have met the guy who was transporting the flag that starts the Daytona 500.
Oh, wow. That's
And
pretty
it
cool.
wasn't a good interaction.
Oh, no. Uh-oh.
So this guy has the flag in a box that's probably 2 feet long.
Okay.
And he's got a carry-on bag.
Yeah.
Naturally, the box that the flag in is going to be way too long to fit in an overhead compartment.
Yeah.
So I'm telling the guy that he has to
check it
and we'll put a sticker on it that he'll be able to pull it back out they'll deliver it to the jetway when he gets off the plane. Okay. But this guy goes up in arms like, this is the flag for the Daytona 500.
Wow.
This is the flag that starts the race. I need this on the plane. Yeah. We had to tell him it's too big. You have to check it. And the guy is losing his mind because we're going to have to tag the bag. And he's, you're going to, it needs to be in one piece. You're going to break it. And I need this thing in the cabin. And I'm thinking, it's a flag.
It's the flag that starts the Daytona 500, Greg. That is big.
I know, but it's a pole with some fabric on it. We're not gonna break the flag. I'm again. The guys.
You guys should have taken it to the back and got a quick couple pictures of it. But like, we gotta check this box just to make sure. Just a quick boomerang of you waving that flag.
The guy goes, if the Daytona doesn't start, it's your fault.
The case of the missing flag.
Right.
So do we know if he got well, I guess he goes another airport. He goes Daytona, so yeah, you guys won't know. Yeah,
well, if the Daytona starts, then he got his flag.
Yeah.
But we ended up
there's a delay.
We took the flag. And he did not get his way, take the thing on the plane because, it's FAA rules. It's not me being mean to you. It's you got to follow the rules. I don't care what accessory you're traveling with.
If COVID has taught us anything about airports, Greg, it's that customers think they're right, no matter if they're not right. So,
exactly.
Especially with
apparently,
the mask.
Apparently what he was transporting was more important than the rules. No, it's not. So,
if there's a delay, Greg Williams is to blame for the start of the Daytona. They're gonna they're gonna say our technical difficulties while they're hunting for the flag. So.
Yeah, the records and checkers guys can come talk.
I'm gonna look in your room there, Greg. I see a little green fabric sticking up in your closet.
Man, I thought I hit that well enough.
That's funny. Well, I will say it is kind of a big thrill for the Indy 500. They usually get a big person to do the green flag drop. So I see his point, but at the same time,
yeah. So there's my brush with
great
the Daytona 500
with a flag.
With the flag, not the person.
Not a person, a flag.
Yeah.
So, well, we shall end on that note because what better way to end than with a flag story? So, enjoy the rest of the week. We're on the roads to WrestleMania. How many times am I going to use that pun, Greg? All the times. You're damn right. So, because we already know it's going to be a hashtag, so we might as well just start getting it out there now. Hashtag roads to WrestleMania. So, Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes, our main event. I'm going to be really excited to watch that and see how it unfolds. So, any closing statements before we sign off here, Greg?
Nope, just be safe out there, and looking
Go
forward to
Suns.
go Suns. That's right.
You got Kevin
All-Star break
Durant.
is over.
I
That's
think you
right.
got starting finally, or well, I'm not finally, but he'll be officially playing, right?
He will be. Yep. And now we're going to be the highest powered team in the league. I'm going to
Yeah.
say, you know, that our top four is better than anybody else's top four. I will dare to say. So
Yeah.
it's if we can fill out that bench, they're going to be unstoppable.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's end that note, and we'll talk to you guys next week.